Welcome back to Infinifactory. Today we're going to be getting on with the puzzles in that first sort of main chapter that we got after the tutorial chapter. Let's take a look at the puzzles and a couple of things from commenters that I will go through in a second. We're going to go through this munitions refill type 6 puzzle first of all. We see we've got these block sensors. Last episode I did find a sensor block that I couldn't figure out. It's because this block, the sensor side, was pointing down. It's a thing that's supposed to put above another one. Let me just actually go into this solution and I should be able to show you. Yeah, this one. So I just wanted to get rid of this block right here, for example, and instead what I can do is put down this sensor block right here. Okay, and this should be pointing down. You can see it right there. So that means I can then connect this to the back, or should be able to. And now when I run this thing, it should be, let's just actually up the rate to maximum. Start it off and press F. Okay, and this is the fastest it can possibly run. You can see our cycle score is now 1 faster just because we're able to detect the block on the same point at which we push it, so it can't possibly be faster. The footprint is a little smaller now, and everything is nice and good. Someone has managed to get even smaller cycle scores. I don't know. I'm just going to continue back to the cell. I think that maybe once we have the blocks, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, puzzles. Munitions refill type 6. Let's get started. So as usual, unfortunately, we got someone else here who has failed. It's not a dog, thankfully. Oh, not a dog, just a regular old human. Let's see what they have to say.
Oh, wow. What is that? This must be some sort of shipyard. It's amazing. There are tons of ships here. Those little ones docking with that carrier, they must be shuttles or fighters. And oh, that one looks like a missile cruiser. Wow, this is a pretty serious armada. I wonder who they're fighting.
Okay, so she seems to have died without really ever doing anything other than going, wow, this is amazing. So why don't we take a look what we have to do. It looks like we have to deliver 3 boxes. Not sure if they have to be simultaneous or connected. They don't appear to be, so presumably we just have to split them somehow. Can we take that block out? No, guess not. So let's just go up here, and we've only got 1 output, so I guess we just got to figure out how to split things. We have yeah, we've got a bit of a problem there because they're all going to come out in a single line, aren't they? So if I just put this down, you can see this has to go over here, and we're going to split it into 3 different sort of sections. So whatever it is, we're going to end up with something like that going to the center, and then we need to basically push things off this every so often. Okay, so pushing it off every so often, we know we've got that kind of block available. So let me see if I can put something together for that. Let's just going to start out by just putting some belt down. Okay, so we've got that, and then you can imagine we have pusher blocks already available. So if I just put down a platform here for a second, let's put it down right there or something, we can push this onto a second belt. So if we have a second belt going right here, then yep, that'll work. We probably want to do this as late as possible though, to just reduce the footprint, but for now I'm going to just put it where it stands. So that means we don't want to push a block, something like that, and a detector block. So if I just go and put that onto there, we can basically get this going. So we can get where is my detector? There it is. Okay, it's pointing down. That means every single block that passes this will get pushed onto this, which isn't all that great. That's equivalent to just rotating this and going sideways, although a bit slower. So instead, what we've got to do is figure out how to do that only 1/3 of the time, I would assume. Seems reasonable. So let me just play around with this a little bit and let's see if we can get that running. Yeah, so I rebuilt this to be as late as possible, so we're going to just basically do it down here so that we don't increase our footprint. So I've just got a straight belt coming down, and then we're going to have to go and figure this out. Now, we can do a few things here to sort this out. I think we're going to just want to put some platforms down. We can shift stuff off this belt onto another belt going that way. So we want another belt going that way, and that's going to sort that one. We are also, however, going to want to shift another one going this way. Okay. And there we are. So we got 3 belts, and we need to basically shift those onto each of these. So we want one sensor to trigger, going to be a side sensor, I think, in this case. And then we're going to basically want to connect that up to a couple of pushers. I'm not sure if these will work without this sort of networking cable between them. I'm hoping that it will, because it's got these little sort of round things. So we'll see how well that goes. And that may do it. We'll see. This should trigger when something hits here, and then they're going to hit each of these and get pushed sideways. Let's give it a go. Let's turn it on. I've got them on max at the moment, on max sort of, you know, rate, input rate. And no, that's not going to work. No. So why don't we just delay things a little bit? Let's just drop things down here and just put 2 platforms. So first one should go onto here, next one should push across, next one should put it across again. So we're always going to end up with 2 here when the third one gets hit. So let's get that started again and go for fast forward. Nope, so that third one is not being transmitted. Let's just turn it off again. We want to make sure that all of those get transmitted from the same sensor, so let's make sure they're all connected to each other like that. It seems to only propagate once, so that's okay. And it'd be nice if it was passed through, but hey, let's give it a go again. Full speed. There we go. That's working. And I think what we can do is turn it off again, and instead what we're going to do is just delete these blocks underneath, and we'll connect them together underneath. Okay, so it's pretty much the same footprint, but I don't need the platform blocks underneath. So let's start that off, and let's see what the score's like. So through it goes. I'm not sure how many it needs to actually complete, but oh, there we go. So we are on minimum cycle score. We're on minimum footprint score. We're not on minimum block score. Clearly, I can't win them all at the same time. Fine. We can come back to that one. If anyone can see how I save blocks, it may just be like one less belt somewhere. That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah. Again, let's just go for play again. Can I actually get rid of... Can I get rid of that one, and then will it pass through from this one into the other one? Let's just see if that actually works, because that would be one less block score, if so. Let's see. Nope, that doesn't work. Oh well, I tried. So we definitely have to connect the sensor each time. This does connect everything with belts. I really can't see how we can get one less block score. Huh. Anyway, we can basically complete that off, and I'll see you back for the next puzzle. So here we are. We can see shuttle propulsion units is our next puzzle. Create new solution. Looks like there's a lot of variety, particularly in the footprint. So let's give that a go. And what do we got going here? Do we have a failure? Do we have a person to actually talk to? Oh yeah, we do. Looks like they were squashed. Yeah.
I can't believe I'm here on another planet with aliens. This is amazing, Claudia. Amazing! I can't get over it. The crash at Roswell, the lights over Lubbock, the sightings in Washington, D.C., all the way back to ancient times, Jerusalem and Rome. It was them. The pyramids, Stonehenge, Atlantis. Atlantis is real, by the way. It was all their doing. It must have been. Look at this technology. It's just what was needed to move those massive stones. If only Claudia was here to see this.
Yeah. Looks like he came to a rather sticky end. Maybe that's the Ancient Aliens guy from TV. Who knows? It was aliens. Anyway, we've got to split things, it looks like, and then weld them together. I think we've got to split them first and then weld them. Otherwise... Well... No. Technically, we only need groups of 2 and then, you know, split. and then the third one gets welded onto the end in some cases. Okay, so we got to get that going. Whether we split them into 5s, that seems like it would be an awful lot of footprint rather than just split them into 2s. I.e. split them into 2, and then one path ends up with 2 welded together, the other one ends up with a single one, and then it joins on sometimes at the end. May have to play around with this one a little bit. Okay, here's attempt number 1, probably going to be bad. What I've got set up here is, again, that pusher that will basically take this and we'll push it sideways. Okay, so half of it's going to end up over here. Not sure how many of these we're going to need in total, but hey, half of them are going to end up over here. Yes. The rest, this side has got a single delay, which will cause a 2-block weld. The other side has got a 2-block delay, which will give a 3-block weld, I think, if I remember rightly. Not necessarily that's correct, but hey, let's go and just basically route stuff on the bottom here. And it's all going to go that way and then this way. Okay, and we'll fix the footprint later. You know, it's not that important. Yeah, let's just turn it here. Okay, let's see whether that does the job. Probably not, as I say, but it's worthwhile seeing first of all. So let's turn it on. Oh, yeah, we need to support these things. Yeah, I removed all the blocks. Let's just make sure one block is supporting it. There it goes. So half. Nope, that's not working. Why is yeah, let's take a look at that again. This side is working, this side not. So one's going over. Stopping. Oh, that's connected to each other. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. What we just got to do is separate them one further, it looks like. So let's just get rid of these like that. And let's just put them sort of here. And we'll still connect them much the same as I had before. Just that down here, I'll correct this later, but you know, we'll have a block like that. And then I just want 2 welders as before, so let's just put the welders in. And one there. Okay, and will you now work? Let's see. Okay. Ends up as a 2. This should end up as a 3. Yep. Okay, that's working, I think. Of course, what we probably want to do is move that footprint as before on the previous one down here. But for now, I'm going to see what this score is for this version compared to everyone else. In fact, let me just stop it first of all and up the input rate to maximum, and then let's run it at full speed. Okay, that's not too bad, but it's probably going to end up terrible by comparison to everyone else's version. Okay, well, it's not too bad though, is it? Block score is sort of the most common one, footprint score is not quite minimum, and then cycle score isn't too bad. Okay, so I'm not sure how we're going to get cycle score down, but the others I think we can probably do. So I'm going to play again. I'm going to move this stuff down here, and then what we're going to have to do is make sure that maybe we drop this straight down, and then this final bit right here is going to be literally, you know, 4 blocks just before that. So we want 4 blocks, and then 4 blocks, so the pusher is going to be there. Okay, so if I just remove that for a second, that's going to be the entrance to our system. Then we just have to make sure that, as before, we have a system going this way and turning like that twice. Then a couple of blocks, and then another belt, and then everything else is pretty much the same. So let's get rid of all of you. All of you can go. All of you can go. And then this is just going to get turned inward. So let's just have that as before. Cool. So I'll reconstruct this down there and let's see what our score is. Okay, now we're down at 153 cycle score. Our footprint is as best as I can get it, and then block score is also pretty far down, which is good. Again, someone has figured out how to make the cycle score. That may be through some other trick that I'm not aware of, but maybe you guys can say in the comments if you know anything more. And let's go back to our cell, and now we have wave detection array. Interesting. Does that mean a new block? Let's take a look. Where's our dead person? They got to be around here somewhere. Unless there's no one on this one. Oh, looking forward to that. Anyway, do we have any new blocks? We do not have new blocks. So, what do we need for this? We need 2 boxes either side of a central thing. And we have 2 coming out here. So we're clearly going to need to split this one in 2. And it looks like we need to deliver them over here. And we're going to need to split them in 2 once they're welded together. Okay. Interesting. When I played around with it a little bit, it turns out it's really hard to actually do this without stopping blocks. Normally, if you just put these, your belt coming out this way, no matter how you actually do it, the blocks will just keep on coming. And when you need to actually have them in specific order like this, you sort of need that to happen in a specific order. So you need to stop them somehow, like this, from actually going out any further. So that is perfectly... In fact, no, we don't even need that. We just put in a solid block. This, I think, should just shove them out. Yes, it will. Okay, so if it's going to shove them out, then we can rotate this to basically push that, and then I'll end up with... Depending on how fast these are coming out, this may depend on that rate, but let's take a look. Let's just put a belt here for now. And let's just run it back on its... run it back out that way somewhere. Let's just see if this actually gets them in the right order. So 1, 2... Nope, that's not quite in the right order. We got the first 2 in the right order, but we need the third one to be accurate. So does that need to actually be a conveyor? Why don't we just put a conveyor in and let's see if that will actually work. So that's going to go in there, and that's going to end up with the right order. That's good. So if they're in the right order, we can then just immediately weld them. And that's just as before. We can knock a couple of blocks out wherever we knock them out. Doesn't matter. So it's going to be 3 wide, isn't it? So maybe we can just put some welders in. Do we have our vertical welders? Yep. And 3 of them. And then that's pretty much it, I think. We have, we need to deliver them, but that's fine. Let's get this going with the final one being a belt. Will you weld? That's 1, 2, 3 welded. Yep, those are all right. So now we just have to deliver them and split them as we've done previously. Now splitters, obviously, it feels like Factorio. I'm talking about splitters again. It doesn't matter how we do it or when we do it, but usually as late as possible is probably going to be good. So I guess we'll have to split them. Are these different levels or are they the same level? Oh no! Got an achievement for that. Yeah, don't jetpack too low. Just a thought. Anyway, we're just going to split them as we've done before, but now that obviously they're 3 wide, we need to maybe split them. How are we actually going to do that? Because... yeah, I just wonder. If I actually put them like, for example, like, we have them going this way, and we have a splitter going that way, or we'll do it over here, but you get the idea. If we put down a block like that, and have a pusher, like this, probably going to be next to it, so let's just put a block detector there, and then a pusher. Will it continue on? Whoops, get rid of those. But continue on and work properly. Let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. That needs to be rotated. Whoops. Rotate you. So that's 1 made. Yeah, that's not going to work. That has to be sort of brought in a little bit further first, doesn't it? So, yes. Let's just get that going this way. Okay, we need to leave 2 space sort of blocks, so I'm going to go in that way, and it's fine for it to go this way, I think. Rotate you, and then let's see if that works. Okay, and I'm going to need to have the blocks. It needs to be 1 further, doesn't it? Yep, needs to be there. And rotate. Every time I try that, it moves it one further down. It doesn't seem to be sort of predictable as to where it actually moves it to. So, yeah, we're going to need to make sure that is predictable. So, yeah, I guess I'm going to just rebuild the pushing block going the other way. Why don't we just have it going from here and then have it sort of back this side or something like that, and then we just have this down. And then we may have to remotely connect this rather than having it right next door, because that might cause issues with it pushing everything. But, okay, what happens now? So around it comes. Around it comes when I actually have these in the right place now. Yeah, let's go there. Okay, that's one. Yeah, so that's going to push them all sideways. We need a way of restructuring this splitter so that it works on blocks of 3, not blocks of 1. Okay, and there we go. This pusher is going to push it onto this other belt, which is just going to push it sideways until it's hitting this block, in which case it will stop, and then we'll get pulled that way so it's aligned with the sort of where we need to deliver it to. This one is actually just going to go all the way to the end and then turn, and that means the last block as it comes along is going to be aligned with the last block on that side, so it's easy enough to do. So let's get this started, and should see that actually happening. So there's the first block. This is more a matter of timing when it actually pushes the second one across. So you'll see it depends on the length of this. There it goes. And it will split them evenly. So if I then just fast forward this. Okay. And we can rebuild that sort of pusher system further along here if we wanted to. That'll certainly reduce the footprint. Yep, you can see our cycle score is sort of better than most. A footprint score, no. Terrible. Block score, well, yeah, I can probably do a little bit better. Let me see if I can actually build this to be smaller. And this is about as small as I can get it. We're going to use the back of the pusher to be the stop block for the output. That's going to go around. This is reduced by 1 that way, so being a little bit shorter. And then because I don't have enough room without increasing the blueprint, I'm going to have to get to this block right here with an arc over the top to go back to here. And then if we turn the whole thing on, well, that will actually show up. You'll see it gets divided into... and that should give us a completion. Looks right. I'm not sure if I like that sort of back and forward thing it does there. So now it's 139, and there's still a lot of people with a better footprint. The only thing I can think of is that you just build it further down here, and that should be sorted. So yeah. Otherwise, our block score is a little bit better. Our cycle score is a little bit better, and we can continue to the next puzzle, I think. If anyone wants to propose something with a lot less footprint, feel free to. It just happens to be that, you know, that will just need to be moved down here, I think. And then you don't end up with 2 belts. You end up with mostly just 1. In fact, should I do that now? No, it's okay. I'll leave that for you guys, and you can, yeah, put it down in the comments if you want to. On to the next puzzle. So this is the last solution in Skydock 19. This is Guided Javelin Type 1. Let's create a new solution. And it's a little bit different. This one requires us to deal with ratios, but only in a sort of incidental way. There is a new failure log there, but she speaks Chinese. Unfortunately, I don't speak Chinese, so I'm not able to vet what that's actually saying. So I'm just going to leave that alone for now. If anyone actually, you know, does play this and it can speak Chinese, feel free to let others know down below what that actually says. So we have 3 basic outputs here. So we have 3 belts. Let's just see what happens. What I'm hoping will happen is that we're going to get them coming out already in the right ratio, i.e. for every one of these, you see this right here, there's a bottom block, 3 middle blocks, and a top block. I'm hoping they all come out, like one of these will come out for 3 of these for 1 of these. If they come out even, then I've got a lot more wiring to deal with. Let's see what happens. So that's 1, 2, yeah, they are coming in proportion. Fine. Okay, so we should be able to vertical weld, just like we can horizontal weld. So if I send these going this way, and whoops, that way like that, they should all join together and be able to drop down vertically. And if I just put a bottom block there, one block here, and let's just get some welders. So if I... Oops, that's not a welder. That is a welder. So 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're probably going to need a pusher of some kind. So let's just put a pusher there, for argument's sake. Number 6. Yep. Alright, so, and then maybe a block detector or some other means of doing that. Maybe, I'm not sure yet. Let's just see what happens if I just join this right here. It may need to go back and forward a few times. This may be a timing problem. Let's just rotate it and send it this way, and let's see what happens. So let's fast forward a little bit. Yeah, that is a timing problem. So again, I'm just going to delete that there, and I'm just going to send it a little bit further. Whoops. A little bit further. Back a bit, and then in here. Fast forward. Okay, so that is going to basically be correct. It needs to then, at some point, be triggered. Now, I can't put a trigger block. I was thinking about putting one like right here, you know, right in that block. But that's going to trigger every time. So we have to basically trigger on this side, which is the last block coming in, and figure out when to actually do that. Interesting. That's going to just be playing around with it, I think. I can't see any reason to, or any way to do that otherwise. So I'm just going to set this to the right place. Okay, and once that's done, then everything will work. So I'm going to have to find the right block to trigger the second lot, and, well, we'll see what happens there. We're just going to basically put in some cable. And, okay, now I just need to find the block. Okay, I think I found the right block. It really matters. Literally from one block to the next, it'll miss. So let's start it up and let's see how that happens. So one block's going the bottom, then the middle, 2. This one's just short and will work correctly. And this one's going to come around and trigger the whole thing to get pushed. And then the same thing should go around again. So hopefully that should not have a problem. And the same thing should happen. Yep, there we go. So let's fast forward and we'll see our what looks like rockets be delivered, and let's see what our score is. That's going to take a little while, maybe? How many of the rockets do we need to deliver? Doesn't say. Oh, there we go. Someone's figured it out to do it in faster cycle score. We may just be able to up the input rate to do that. Let's give that a try in a second. Footprint score is pretty good. Pretty good, and block score is also pretty good. Certainly better than average. Let's just play again and up the input rate, and let's up it to max, and let's see whether it still holds true. Nope. Yeah, so someone has probably figured out how to push that just by 1. Why don't we just see if that's still the same in this case? Just pushing it by 1. No, there's a slight error. That's where you have to move this sensor block somewhere a little bit further back or forward, etc. So we know we've got a solution for it. We just know that that is something we have to do, you know, with input rate 0. So, yep, that's that one done. And we're ready to go pretty much back to the cell, I think. And that has a solution. It means it's time for our performance review. I agree. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I guess it's a VHS tape of Armpits Iron. Okay. With Dr. Seymour Pitts, of course. Oh, fine. And we get more biscuits. Okay, and this opens up a new puzzle section, presumably. We'd hope. Test zone. Resource site. So test zone is... test zone inputs allow the ratio of input blocks to be adjusted to match a wide variety of experiments. Okay, interesting. And then resource site 526.81. Optical sensor array. Does this give us any new blocks? Let's take a look. Yeah, it certainly looks different, which is good. Ah, and there's one of these displays, which probably means, yeah, we get a rotate block. Okay, so that's going to be next episode. I think we get the ability to rotate things, and that sort of changes things quite a bit as far as that's concerned. So I will leave it here for today, and you can comment down below. Rotation seems like a simple thing to do, but let me get this right. So far, I've been in quite simple solutions. There are quite, let's just say, much more complicated solutions that people have done to process things a lot quicker. For example, just to give you an example, let's just imagine you have something like this. Let's just put this down, okay? And let's say you put basically a pusher on one side. Imagine this is suspended upwards slightly. A pusher on one side, pusher on the other. And this is just on, I don't know, some kind of belt. You can basically have... that needs to go one further away, doesn't it? You can have this shuttling backwards and forwards, and depending on how you actually have the entrance, like here, you can basically have blocks being pushed backwards and forwards just from this superstructure. And then you also can have things like this attached to rotation, so this can be rotating around as well as other kind of things. So yeah, there is a lot more complicated stuff to come if you want to do sort of more advanced solutions. But for now, I will leave it from there with just that various welding and assembly, vertical, horizontal. And hopefully we'll see you next time for some more Infinifactory. Hope you've enjoyed. If you have, give it a thumbs up down below. Subscribe, share as you normally would. Click on the bell if you want notifications for more episodes. And we'll see you next time for more of this. As always, guys, thanks for watching.